Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining, and welcome to this new live webinar hosted by Liquid. For those of you who don't know us that well yet, Liquid is a Dutch software development company that helps companies gain maximum control over their application landscape and data flows. We strive to give quick and easy access to all possible applications, legacy or cloud-based. My name is Linda Karen, and I'm responsible for marketing here at Liquid. And today I'm joined by my colleague, Nico Ziek. Today's session will be less about slides, but more about showing you live how Liquid works so well in combination with Microsoft's Autopilot and Intune. Before we jump in, I want to let you know that this session is being recorded, and the recording will be available immediately after we wrap up the live event. We highly encourage you to ask questions. You can do this by writing your questions in the Ask a Question box here on the BrightTalk tool. You can do this throughout the session, but we won't answer them until the end of the session. And if we're unable to get through all of the questions during the live event, we'll come back with an answer to you on the email. Let's start. Nico, I think it might be helpful to start by sharing some background information on why you suggested to do this webinar on this topic.
Yeah, well, hello everybody. So I've started this session because I speak a lot at our partners and our end customers. They ask me the same question. Well, Nico, we are moving to Microsoft 365, which includes Microsoft Autopilot and Intune. So where do I need Liquid for? And most of these companies will start with Microsoft 365. I've written a blog about it. And after a while, starting with Microsoft Intune, they see some of the limitations. So Intune is a great solution, but has some shortcomings. And today I will try to show you how we can enhance your current Microsoft Autopilot and Intune implementation. So let's first start off for the people who don't know us. What's our vision? Because we try to achieve something with Liquid. Our vision is IT should be like water from the tap. So everything we try to do is from the end user perspective. So we try to keep IT as simple as possible for the end user and as manageable for the IT crowd. So we try to combine both worlds. So we also say we leave no app behind. We try to achieve that a single application is available from any point from one single pane of glass. More important is what most solutions try to forget is that the world consists of these three cloud solutions. So we see the private cloud. That's most commonly something you've already built. It's in place. It's already there. The most thing I heard with these solutions is I cannot phase them out right now because the licenses are still valid. The hardware is not written off. The software is not ready to move. So you are stuck with your private cloud, something you already built. The next one is the public cloud. Everybody wants to go or goes to the public cloud. Software as a service, Office 365, Microsoft Intune. But it all needs to be managed for the end user. And the end user does not work and does not see where applications and stuff will come from. They don't want to be bothered with single sign-on. They don't want to be bothered with application configuration. The last part, and that's where also modern management is coming in, is the personal cloud. So everybody has their own preference of working. Most commonly these days, you see that companies start with a choose your own device concept or even a bring your own device concept, and they consist of complete unmanaged devices. As an IT crowd, we need to manage those devices. We need to control the data on that devices, but it's a really flexible world. So at the moment, I think it's pretty much agreed that Intune is one of the hottest cloud management platforms at the moment. Why? Microsoft has a great strategy for it. Microsoft offers Microsoft 365 as a new licensing model coming with Windows Virtual Desktop, Office 365, Microsoft Autopilot for deploying your endpoint device and to completely configure those devices. It will come with Microsoft Intune. So it's almost completely free. So that's why most of our customers are looking into Microsoft Intune to manage their platforms because they already have the licensing in place. So when they start working with the idea of Microsoft Intune, they say, well, it's great. It's really awesome. And I must say, I truly agree. But Microsoft has some sort of a vision. Well, they don't have it, but it's the dynamic in the IT world. So they think Intune is set up like there is only one location people will work from with one or two devices, They don't roam around. They don't do anything special on a workday. Unfortunately, that is not the real truth. So what is lacking in Intune, and what are we trying to achieve with Liquid that we can do a little bit more dynamic, a little bit better? Not better per se, but make it more dynamic. So let's look into dynamic policies. If we look at our customers, most of the times you see customers having multiple entities or multiple locations or even different requirements per room. So when I'm a user, I am working on a device and I'm going from location A to location B. That will automatically change my drive mappings. That will change the location of my printers. That will change the type of database I'm connecting to. While you can set policies with Intune, it's really complex to make them that variable with all locations per rooms. So if you look at a hospital, you can go into a general location like a phone office or something. You can work from there, but then the doctor goes into the operation room. They need to have access to those operation applications and all settings combined with them on a secure device. There's a dynamics that is in true real-world IT, and that is not what's been supported by Microsoft Intune at the moment. Not really great. So if you look at modern management, that's one of the biggest upcoming hypes in the current world. So what is modern management? Well, basically, it's different devices per user. So at one moment, the user is working on his laptop, and the next moment, the user is running from home from his iPad, and then it's going back into the office and needs a thin client to access that application. So actually, it's a combination of unmanaged devices and with remote devices and all different scenarios a user will use. We don't have full control over those applications or over those devices. We need to have control over those applications. One of the biggest disadvantages of Intune is complex application deployment. So yeah, Intune can deploy a good MSI and can deploy a standard application, but unfortunately, that is not the real world. On average, a company uses more than 200 applications. Those 200 applications come with a great variety of settings and services needed. Most commonly, they rely on each other, like an application relies on .NET Framework, and on Microsoft Office relies on the Office custom Office styles and security settings. And all those settings need to be pushed to the endpoint device. And that's the thing Liquid can do great in a real dynamic way. And Intune lacks a little bit of dynamics for that. I will show you that later live. So really important these days is dynamic workspace management. When I log on to my device, I need to have my configuration just in time. It doesn't have to be preloaded, but it needs to be there when I want to use it. And when I roam away, I need it to be there instantly, and I don't want to wait for 10, 15 minutes. So we don't want to do any guesstimates when things will happen. So when I log on, Liquid will set everything up right for you just when you need it, and I click on an application, and everything will be configured when I need it, what I need it, and what scenario I need it. The next one is the newest release of Microsoft. So they are going to combine System Center for on-premise management and Intune and Autopilot for cloud management in one single pane of glass, but they're basically two solutions. So what Liquid tries to do is be the bridge between legacy and cloud. We can provide you everything in the cloud, like single sign-on, like access management, like deploying Windows virtual desktops and deploying Citrix environments in the cloud, and also on-premise, deploy your legacy applications, deploy your services on location. So we are actually that one solution that goes into the middle of it. And we can make a seamless shift between your on-premise Citrix environment and to your Windows Virtual Desktop new environment. And the last great advantage I think we have over Intune and Autopilot is that we come with our own IT store. So we have a DTAP system and we have our own setup store. So getting your applications there is one, but keeping them up to date with the latest releases without the minimal amount of attention needed to deploy it, that's what we try to achieve. So lifecycle for applications is really, really important. So I'm going to show you some things live. Now I'm going to switch the screen to Liquid. So hopefully you can see my screen. If not, let me know in the comments. So this is Liquid. This is our workspace look and feel, but keep in mind that where we deploy those applications, they might be anywhere. So it can be in your start menu or any external solution you would like. We are basically a front end, a smart front end for anything. So I am a user now and I want to work from home and I love to work. Actually, I am sitting at home at the moment and I click on my Excel. One thing I want to happen is that Excel will launch, no matter what is needed, what's required for it. So what Liquid just did were a couple of things. First of all, I'll show you what Liquid did. I'll go to Manage, and I'll show the actions. So Liquid will do a workspace management solution, and we'll do some checking on security, and we'll do some context checking. What Liquid tried to do was, well, it started looking for Excel. It started looking for Excel on my local device because I have a local device. I have a laptop. If Liquid wasn't able to start that application, it would go to the Apple variant, starting it natively. Then it would go to Excel 2016, try to run Excel 2016 32-bit. Next one, Excel 2013, and the last one would be Excel Online with a single sign-on. The idea that we have here is that when the user clicks on this, it will always get its application. We will manage everything else for you. So what Liquid basically did was following this workflow. But first, when I logged on to my demo environment, it did a check on my context. So here we have context. It did a scan on which user am I. We have here a set of policies, so like here internally, externally, on a Citrix server, on an HP laptop. We have a set of policies, and these policies are applied immediately. We are not have to wait. And as soon as I pick up my laptop, when I move out of my location, go outside, I don't have Wi-Fi anymore, my context is completely changed. This will work online and offline. So then the way Liquid handles the applications, settings, and security things completely changes. But it's instantly. We don't have to wait for it. It's just like when I click now on my workspace again, you see a little refresh, and now my context is refreshed. So this is a full policy update on my complete system. If we look at 7-zip, this is one type of demo application I have. I want to have 7-zip as an end user. Typically, I have to download it myself, configure it myself. Keep in mind, I'm a bring your own device user. I already opted myself in for a bring your own device agent. We work with our own agent. It's 1.1 megabytes. You can download it yourself. And then I have to click on that application. What this will do is simply download that application, install that application, and I'm good to go. So I'll show you what I did here. Here I see that there are two MSIs in it and a start process. So what this does actually, this is a little bit of bring your own workspace management solution when we can deploy and deliver an application and all the settings included based on my policies just in time. So here I have an MSI that's going to install a 7-zip MSI. But we filter it out. We're going to check for you based on your system parameters you have and the policy requirements you have, if the platform architecture is x68. Otherwise, we just simply skip this task. The next one is we're going to check if the platform architecture is x64. So now the user doesn't have to think about the application anymore, just select the application he or she wants to use, then click on it, and Liquid will decide which installer will be eligible to install. Next, of course, we're going to launch that application. But if in any case it's not possible to install that application, we provide the user with a remote session, seamlessly with the same single press on a button. So it might be that the user is running from an iPad. These are 64 32-bit MSIs. Those are not available on an iPad, so we provide them with a remote desktop session. Still, the user can work, and within that Citrix session, we can provide everything. We do the workspace management again. We provide the security settings. We deploy that golden image for you. So let's check. What we see, what most customers will do with Liquid is, first, they are going to start with Microsoft Autopilot. And Autopilot will deploy your Windows operating system. But that's only the basic policy. So a user gets a laptop, opens the laptop, types in the Wi-Fi passwords, and then we'll go into the Autopilot deployment process, because Autopilot will detect it's an Azure connected device. It's based on a corporate owned system. We will deploy the base policies. After that, Intune will be deployed. And Intune comes with all those limitations. So what we see that a lot of customers like to do is install then the Liquid agent. Liquid agent is the agent that we provide you with just 1.1 megabytes. So it's really easy and lightweight to install. And that agent will trigger a deployment for you. So here we have one of our demo deployments. It doesn't matter what we place inside the deployment. We are able to complete system deployment based on our context. So we can detect if a user is internally or externally So when users externally, we just deploy a limited amount of applications that the user just might be using on that moment. When users internally, we will deploy its full system. He can just simply wait on it. We can provide the user with self-serve reset systems. Instead of calling to the service desk, it will be able to reset this device via Autopilot. We will distribute and install those applications again, and within minutes the user is up running again. With the advantage that we do have those dynamic contexts, so we can see where a user is and what we need to deploy at the moment, and it will be there immediately. So these deployments make it really easy for you. So that's where we enhance the Autopilot process. We bypass the Intune process a little bit, and we're gonna move on further. Then we have another connector. So we work with connectors. The easiest part is, in most companies, for Intune and Autopilot, you want to deploy a local device. And then the user needs to work from a remote session, because most companies do have Citrix or RDP or WVD or even VMware or whatever remote system they have. So why don't we provide them with those applications in those smart icons I just showed you? So we can create a connection to Citrix storefront and deploy our Citrix application seamlessly for the end user on an endpoint, which are included within our deployment system. So Intune does not have to do anything with it anymore. Now I'm going to show you the setup store, because packaging is one of the hardest things in companies there is. What we try to do is keep those packages up to date for the user on an easy way. So here we see our setup store, and these consist of hundreds of thousands of applications, I guess, more than 3,000 of applications, which are quite commonly updated, like .NET, Google Chrome. So it will cost you a lot of time to package and maintain those applications and upload those applications to your deployment system, make them completely flexible, and specifically in Intune, create it into one MSI. So what we can offer you, for instance, Google Chrome. I'm going to live package Google Chrome now for you for an update, and I'll take the education one, just to be sure I'm updating the existing ones. So what this does, I select the application from a store, and Liquid will ask, I want to configure that application. I see there's a template. How do you want that application to behave? So on this point, we take a standard MSI, we get a questionnaire, we fill in that questionnaire, and we create a custom, completely packaged MSI for you with all the install tasks from Liquid in it. So I can just say, what is my homepage, like liquid.com, and I do some preferences. I say, do not import bookmarks, or import bookmarks, show OEM bubble, doesn't matter. And do next. So for which users are these available? I say it's for everyone, it's a production application. I say publish in the catalog, confirm, next, finish. And from this point on, our packaging process is finished. We have a fully updated and customized MSI. And the nicest thing of this is, when there is another update on this system, and for Google Chrome there will be, because we're already on version 78, it will automatically be downloaded with the template you have available. So the template is there, and every update will be automatically distributed, placed inside your Liquid Workspace, and distributed to your end users if you like. It can also be staged. So we have created the installation files. We've created the installation tasks, so the MSI, the silent parameters with a log file, and a custom transform file. And we also clean it up for you. So this will save you a lot of time keeping your applications, complex application structures, up to date. And from this point on, I am free to create anything else around there over this application. So I can create more and more tasks. I can say I want to start some processes, change some parameters I already have available. You have the complete freedom to configure, manage, and deploy your applications in the way you would like. This is a great enhancement on the Intune philosophy. So what do our partners use Intune for? Basically, they are deploying Autopilot. Intune sets the base set of policies required by the company and the most minimal amount of specifications required for the end user. And after that, Liquid will deploy anything else for that end user. And the more complex the environment is, the more locations, the more remote systems, the more application configuration is available, the more device settings needs to be placed, the more flexible Liquid will be for your end users. This is it for me at the moment, and I seeing some questions. So I see a question, seeing the bring your own device. Do you want companies companies' applications to be available on your end user bring your own device. This can cause serious security risk in case of theft. It depends. I see where the question is coming from. It's based on. It's a hard question to answer. We can provide them with them. We can also install all settings required just in demand when needed. But yeah, there is always a risk. So there are different ways to look at it. You can containerize applications. You can use the app attach systems. You can do basically whatever you want with them, but it's a complex one. Yes, I must agree. Does that answer your question?
I have a few more questions, Nico.
Okay, yeah.
How about full deployments, full system deployments? Can we manage that as well?
Yeah. So Liquid cannot do bare metal deployment, but when there is a base operating system on it, like Autopilot is finished, Liquid can do a full system deployment. So we are able to deploy the systems from end to end and create a full flexible workspace for that. And it can be a local endpoint like a laptop or even a Windows-based thin client, but it can also be a Citrix environment or a Citrix Golden image or a VMware image or a WVD image.
Okay. Let's see, what else did we get? Can you say something about how long it takes to apply policy settings or changes to an endpoint?
Yes, good question. The most hard thing we see in Intune is when Intune deploys something, you see something we call guesstimate. System Center has also a hand of it. So when you deploy a new policy, it might be applied, it might not be applied. And the thing we build is when something changes, it's applied immediately. So within a couple of seconds or the next refresh. And when the user clicks on something within Liquid, it's a full refresh, so a full context applied. So then it's completely dynamic.
Okay. And to our audience, if you have any other questions, I have one more for you, but if you have any questions, now's the time to ask. I have also a question about the licensing model. Can you say something about that?
Yeah, we do. We are working with a named user licensing model, but the most important thing is we believe in flexibility. So if you want to operate a modern workspace solution, we think a modern workspace does not consist of only one technique. So in most common companies, you see you have to buy an endpoint license, like for System Center or something, for any system you want to deploy or run your or manage your systems with. So like if I want to run System Center on my local device and on Citrix and on my thin clients and on my WVD, I have to buy 4 licenses. With Liquid, you just buy 1 license. With that license, you have the freedom and flexibility to manage all your systems. So you have the freedom to choose. So we do not try to limit it and just buy 1 license. And the license model is based on a named user. And pricing can be given by your partner.
Okay. I don't see any other questions that came in. So I think we are going to wrap it up for today. Thank you, Nico, and thanks to everybody on the session today. Please check out the attachments tab. We have some information, or if you'd like to get a personalized demo environment, we're happy to provide that for you so you can see it for yourself, how it works. And with that, I think I'm going to say thank you and have a great day.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody.